Now, just yesterday we spoke with Kei Nishikori, the highest-ranked Asian player in men's tennis at number 17.
And just for you tennis fans out there today, we're going to continue on that line. Sporting his signature glasses on the court, he's made tennis history in Serbia and currently is the country's second top player after Novak Djokovic.
Well, just last year he finished in the top 10 for the first time in his career after making a huge jump from number 49. We welcome the men's world number 9 player, Janko Tipsarevic, to AM Live this morning.
Morning.
Good morning,
Welcome
Janko.
to the show.
Morning, thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you very much. We know that you've had a flight here in a particularly jet-lag situation, but thank you so much for coming in this morning on our show.
Cheers, thanks. Thank you very much.
Now, if we could start, your own career seems to have taken a leap forward since 2010. You've won 3 ATP Tour titles, the last in Stuttgart, and seen your ranking at an all-time high of number 9 in the world. What do you think has sparked this run of fine form?
I got married.
Normally it works the other way after marriage, but got it right.
No, anyway, after Serbia as a nation won the Davis Cup in 2010, that was a huge motivational boost for me. Just lifting that trophy was the biggest moment of my career, I remember, and I've decided to dedicate myself and my life 110% to sport.
Right.
Well, it's not as easy as that. There's a lot of hard work behind it, but I feel extremely lucky because as soon as I made that decision and started the year as 49, results started coming almost immediately, and I ended up finishing the season as number 9 in the world.
Right.
So it was almost a psychological turn for you in your career, in your life.
It was, you know, for all this time I was thinking that I am young, I have a lot of years ahead of me, but then, you know, I just realized that I'm 26, 27 and I'm not getting any younger. I'm entering the second stage of my professional career. And I really wouldn't like to have this feeling inside of me that I'm not fulfilled 100% when I decide to stop playing. So it's been great the last 2 years, you know, being in the top 10. It's a new experience for me, but I'm thrilled to be there.
Well, you're not alone, have you? You've got a fellow countryman out there as well in Serbia. I mean, quite a few names. Victor Trojki, of course we mentioned Djokovic, Ana Ivanovic, Jelena Jankovic. I mean, do you think, does the country help sort of nurture the professional sports, especially in tennis? What's the secret?
I like to say that all of this came from mud. It came from nothing, really. You know that Serbia as a country had a lot of political difficulties in the past, so the country was falling apart. There was no infrastructure. People were thinking about everything, but not about tennis. Yeah. So the success that happened is actually the result of hard work and help of parents of the guys on tour. For sure there is truth in it that we all kind of pull each other towards the top, and nobody wants to be benched and look at the other guys perform well. So it's actually this positive jealousy that you know you feel on court, and you think if he can do it, why can't I do it?
Right.
Well, I mean, is it also something that I don't know? You see a lot of young Serbian kids out there playing tennis on the streets, and you know, is it a kind of I don't know, something that's inculcated from very young in Serbia?
It is. You know, Serbia as a nation we don't have a big tennis history. You know, football is our #1 sport, but I'll tell you, I'm not home often, but it's fun to see, you know, when you see kids on the streets, they were mainly playing football or basketball.
Yes.
But now you see a bunch of these young kids with rackets holding and screaming, I am Novak, I am Ana. So it's really nice and something special for me to see that on the streets.
Well, we want to hear about your experiences on the court. I mean, let's talk about the US Open, because you played a pretty epic match there with David Ferrer, about 4 hours long. I mean, what does that feel like? What do you feel like the next day after? You know,
still recovering from it.
I was, you know, to be honest with you, I was too tired to feel disappointed after the match.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't easy. You know, playing 4.5 hours and losing a match like that in the end wasn't easy. But then I started thinking that in a lot of situations this year, and counting Stuttgart, as you said, 2 matches, I was down match points and I should have lost in the first round. You know, in that particular tournament, US Open, in the first round I was 2 sets to love down and a breakdown early in the tournament. So you know, we say that what goes around comes around, the ball is round. You shouldn't really revolve your career around your losses, and I really feel if I continue working hard that another chance will be given to me.
But what do you do to tell yourself? Because when you've reached, you know, after about 2 hours, and you know it's going to drag on for a while, do you switch your mindset? Do you tell yourself, okay, I got to play differently? How do you rework it?
Yeah, the only way is, especially if you play against a guy like David Ferrer, who is one of the fittest guys on tour and a world-class player, in my experience and my feeling is that you need to focus only on the next point. You know, because if you start thinking that, okay, we hit the 2-hour mark, we're probably going to play 2 or 3 hours more, it's really hot outside, your opponent is really fit and is fighting like a pit bull to win, it's not gonna...
You'll be depressed.
Yes, you start being depressed, and at the end it's not good for you. So you just try and think about the next point, because that's the only thing you can do.
You really have to be mentally strong, don't you? This
you
game
do.
Of tennis.
To be at the top, you really have to.
Well, turning to Asian tennis, you've been quite active on the Asian leg of the ATP World Tour. What is it about Asia that draws players to this region, do you think?
It's a very important swing of the year. Tennis as a sport has a little bit of a downfall after the US Open, because people start thinking immediately about the Masters and the Barclays World Tour final, but they don't realize that a lot of decisions who is actually going to compete and play in the Masters are actually made on these tournaments on the Asian swing. So I love playing in Asia. Asia has a special meaning for me because I won my first title in my career last year in Kuala Lumpur, and it's for sure this year my favorite tour, because we had a crazy year with the Olympics and the season which was shorter for 2 weeks, but having the same commitments and coming to Asia, there's something special about you guys. You calm me down in a very, very perfect and nice way.
Oh, that's good
Well,
to
that's
hear.
nice to know. Well, we want to put to you a few questions we've had from our fans. We've given them the opportunity to ask a few. One of them says, you put on glasses on and off the court, and they're wondering why you don't wear contact lenses, haven't gone for LASIK, you know.
I tried wearing contact lenses. I actually have very sensitive eyes, and they start to get red within seconds, especially if there's dust everywhere. And
so on clay
a lot
courts,
of people on clay courts or indoors, or indoors, it's really not working for me. And laser eye surgery, I mean, people have been telling me it's great, but I'm just not a big fan yet. Maybe later.
I can relate to that. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Tennis life is really not easy, but we have a lot of spare time, and one of my biggest hobbies in spare time is music, definitely. I intend and I like to actually DJ in a few clubs if I can back home when I have a few days off. And books, movies, just the basic stuff.
Well, you should add one more, because now that you're married, what about babies?
I am, I am definitely discussing that issue with my wife. I am more for it than she is, trust me, and hopefully it's going to happen soon.
Okay. Well, we do have to ask you also, what are your immediate goals, and also your goals maybe 5 years down the track?
My immediate goal would be to, I would say, win Bangkok next week, because I'm playing a tournament there, but the goal for 2012 would be that I qualify to London as one of the top 8. You know, I made a big step in my career last year because I finished top 10, but I didn't get my spot until Andy Murray pulled out with an injury.
Right.
So being one of the top 8 in an era like this with Roger and Novak and Rafa, it would mean so much to me. And this is why the Asian swing is particularly really important for me, and actually every match counts.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, all the best, all the best.
Cheers, thanks.
We've been speaking to Janko Tipsarevic of Serbia, the current world #9.